some police officers who were caught breaking the law. Deviant behavior. 28-year-old Mauricio Edgardo Estrada of the Los Angeles Unified School District Police had some pretty heinous charges brought against him in April 2016. He was accused of trying to have sex with a minor. Estrada messaged a 15-year-old girl after seeing a post on Craigslist and agreed to pay $150 to have sex with her. Little did he know that the teen was actually an undercover agent looking to expose pedophiles. If convicted, he could face 10 years in a federal prison. After posting bail, he was suspended from his position and placed on administrative leave until his trial. Witness tampering. In early 2013, John Gerald Poland of South Lake Tahoe, California was charged with witness tampering and obstruction. Through the course of a federal investigation, it was discovered that Poland had interfered with a gang bust by convincing the girlfriend of one of the members to destroy evidence. It was also discovered that he tampered with several other witnesses, instructing them to hide, alter, or destroy evidence in other cases. He faced up to 20 years in prison for his crimes, but was only sentenced to 18 months. Theft. Former Jersey City police officer Mario Rodriguez was sentenced to 3 years in prison in January 2015. In July 2013, Rodriguez and an accomplice stole more than 500,000 cigarettes and 6 TVs from a warehouse in Secaucus, New Jersey. He drove out to Staten Island, New York to sell the cigarettes and 3 of the TVs. He also used his status as a police officer to rob a drug courier, running off with $20,000 in cash. However, everything wasn't as it appeared. The buyer for the cigarettes and the courier were both undercover agents, and his accomplice was a confidential informant. He was arrested after meeting another undercover agent to split the cash. Arson. Dustin Lopez, a former New Mexican police officer, had a problem. In late 2015, the owner of the Palos Inn Hotel entrusted his establishment to Lopez, who promised to keep an eye on it. Instead, he started a fire within the building and watched it burn. When firefighters arrived, he continued to watch as they risked their lives to put out the blaze. He also admitted to setting a home on fire that same summer. He resigned from the force before he was arrested and admitted to having an accomplice that helped him. He was convicted of 2 counts of arson and sentenced to 4 years and 6 months in prison. Drugs and firearms. In 2015 in Houston, Texas, Noe Juarez was sentenced to over 30 years in prison. His crime: conspiracy to possess and distribute cocaine and conspiracy to possess firearms. Evidence showed the now former police officer had been responsible for cocaine distribution throughout major cities from New York to Florida. The drugs were being supplied by the Los Zetas drug cartel in Mexico. Juarez provided sensitive information, vehicles, semi-automatic weapons, and body armor to the cartel, allowing them to distribute hundreds of kilograms of cocaine in the U.S. Perjury. Former officer Patrick Regan of Manhattan was 36 years old at the time of his conviction in August 1995. Once a decorated officer, it was discovered that Regan had lied to the grand jury more than 46 times over 2 days in 1994. A federal investigation spanning 3 years looked into the anti-crime unit in the 34th Precinct and discovered Regan had lied on the witness stand to protect fellow officers who were violating people's rights during arrests and lying to make their arrests stick. After being convicted on 2 counts of perjury, Regan continued to deny the accusations as he faced up to 10 years in prison. He ended up being sentenced to only a year and a day in jail. Stalking. In the summer of 2006, former police officer James Curley harassed and threatened his estranged wife and graphically explained how he would kill her. He planted a GPS device in her car to track her movement and followed her from New York to New Jersey. The threats and stalking distressed her so deeply that she filed a protection order against him. In mid-fall of that year, he violated the order and the harassment continued for 3 years until he was arrested. He was found guilty of 2 counts of stalking and 1 count of violating a protection order and faced a maximum of 15 years in prison.